3 more hours till this game is done. 3 more hours till I give up. 3 more hours till I know the mics are on. Three more hours, 3 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 more.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up? Hey man, how you doing?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm good. We're back.
We are.
The boys are back together for a super special legacy edition
Legacy.
of Time Played 3HR.
Why is this a legacy edition?
Just keep it spicy.
Okay.
I'm Lochie.
I'm Louis.
Yeah. you sounded questioning it there. And today we're going to do one that was meant to be for last week, but it's now this week, and we're doing Left Behind, Last of Us DLC.
Yeah, it's exciting. I can't believe you finally played this thing.
Yeah, I don't know why I just never played it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have mentioned it to you a few times, and I guess because the PS4 came out, and so it just kind of seemed like an awkward transition. I think they came out near the same time. I mean, Left Behind definitely came out before the PS4, but not that far away.
Right. And if you're not getting it at release.
And and then so it's well, do I want to play it on a PS3? And no, you don't really want to play it on a PS3. But luckily they released it separately, and then just kept on putting it on sale for £4, which is a bargain in my opinion. And it was on sale again, and you bought it and you played it.
Yeah, I'm pleased it was on sale.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it was bad value. It's just nice to save £4.
Yeah, sure. So tell me about it. What do you think?
To start? It was good. I enjoyed it. I liked the setup. I thought I had very few issues with it. We'll just jump in. So it follows Ellie's journey before she meets up with Joel. And what was interesting was I just sort of assumed that it was quite a bit before she met Joel. But it's not. It's literally the moments just before, which sort of threw me.
Yeah, you're right. That is a weird thing. It feels like she feels like a different person, and she clearly grows up quite dramatically in the time between she does that and then she meets Joel. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a huge event. I mean, I guess we'll just go straight to the plot now.
Yeah, so
again,
just
go play it if you haven't.
Yeah, just play The Last of Us and then play Left Behind afterwards if you haven't, and then come listen to this podcast.
And then listen to this. That's that's the big three that you got to do.
Both of those things are on sale on PS4 right now. In fact, if you buy the remastered version, it has it in it, and it's £20 right now. So just do that.
Okay. Anyway, so she gets bitten at the end, and it's basically it's her and her friend who has run off and joined the Fireflies, and has now come back to sort of mend a friendship that she sort of abandoned in Ellie. And it was good. I also I wasn't expecting the flash forwards to playing as Ellie when she had to try and save Joel. It played that horrible moment at the start when Joel gets spiked.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, one of the most impactful moments of that game.
Yeah, that whole section where you play as Ellie in the main game is so it's so exasperating, to have that like that sort of independence like thrust on this little person, and like to watch like Joel go down and like all that stuff is really, it's like I think most people say that that's like their favorite part of that game is winter, which is like when you're like shooting with arrows and stuff, and it's a good bit.
It is a good bit.
So it's cool to see them like capitalize on that and make a separate thing with it.
Yeah, and I mean, so it's a Naughty Dog game which is sort of infamous for those big dramatic, in recent years, like the big dramatic sort of cinematics where there's loads of action. And so the moment where Joel gets stabbed and he's fighting with some bloke and they fall over a banister, and you go, oh, okay, so he's fallen down, because this thing happens all the time in these games. There are always these moments where people jump on them and they're so nearly bitten by a zombie or by the infected or like, whatever, being beaten up by someone, and then the other person saves them, but then just for them to fall and actually get skewered, you're like, oh, about time.
Yeah, I guess because like Nathan Drake is always like so close called, he's always like almost dying and then not, because he's Nathan Drake and he just bounces off everything. That's true. Just to see him like get completely wiped out.
So when he's suddenly skewered by like a metal pointy thing, you're like, oh, good. And then so it flashes between Ellie and her friend, whose name I forget.
Riley, I think.
Riley, yep, and in a very sort of peaceful way, and then it flashes forward to The Last of Us that and you're more familiar with Ellie going through the mall, trying to find medicine to heal Joel just after he's been skewered.
How did you feel about playing as like current moment Ellie? Because I think I didn't mind doing it, and I was happy to be playing as Ellie in like a sort of a more tense situation again. But at the same time, it kind of felt like maybe it didn't really want to be there, and maybe they just wanted to do the backstory stuff.
I think it was largely there to accommodate normal gameplay.
Yeah,
because I think they intentionally wanted the Ellie and Riley section to be very like pure narrative. And not be caught up with any sort of gameplay, because you don't fight any enemies throughout that whole Ellie Riley section.
Yeah,
it's all pure narrative, which is like what they do best.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, I was happy to go back to that place with current Ellie, but I think that's partly because I haven't played the game in about however many years it's been since I played it on PS3.
Yeah.
Years and years and years ago. So it was quite nice to get a refresher of that gameplay and get some action. And also it links up, it also is I think it's also used very well to sort of establish the fact that it reminds you of how bad it is when Joel's dying because of the struggles that she had with this other friend. So it sort of shows you and reminds you that, this is the next most important person in this girl's life, and now he's on the brink of death. Yeah,
she's going through that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that's sort of what it's good for.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely like it's nice like to play as Ellie, 'cause she's like, I don't know, because you said you haven't played the main game in like however long it's been. I think like 2012, 2013.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Might be, it's 2013, 14? I don't know. Anyway, it's been a long time. And they...
2013.
Yeah, Jesus. Joel and Ellie like play quite differently. They have a couple of different sort of abilities, I guess. And one of the big differences is that Ellie has a knife. I don't know if you're remember, but Joel just has shivs and they break after one or two uses. Which is a nightmare. It's like, dude, just get a knife somewhere. So Ellie has this knife, and it means she can backstab anyone at any time, including clickers, which are usually like clickers you like basically as Joel can't really touch unless you're in a dire situation. So like Ellie in a lot of ways is a lot more effective than Joel is. She's like,
And it really works for that like moment in the original Last of Us because she's like barreling through all these people desperately trying to save her friend, and so she has this like she's like she's like insanely violent when you play as her, because she's in like a really crappy situation. So it's a lot of fun to play as her, and I guess it's also just kind of novel to play like a 13-year-old girl in a video game, which is fun,
especially when you don't really expect it.
Yeah, it's a great twist in the main game.
Yeah, it's really done quite well.
Yeah, that moment where like Joel
just
like falls,
goes to third person.
Yeah, Joel falls off the horse, and then like it cuts to black, and you're like, shit, what happened? And then, and it opens to that like rabbit getting shot with the arrow, and it comes out to her. And it's like such a good moment.
And you're like, oh,
yeah,
here we go. Yeah. Buckle up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, one sec.
Right.
Yeah, I've got like some phlegm.
Nice, beautiful.
It's all that food I just ate.
Which you didn't eat on the podcast today.
Yeah, I know. I'm learning.
Yeah.
What were we saying? Oh yeah, with in terms of gameplay, like I still stand by it. I think the combat's fine. I don't think it's that fun in particular. It works. It's good. Like it's one of those games as well with the sort of limited ammo that you have. Like you can quite easily mess up, and which is good. But I don't know. I think it's okay. I'm never like wowed by it. It's just Naughty Dog. Just the narrative that they do. I think the thing they do better than anyone else is chit-chat.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah, sure. Well,
and just like human nature.
So I think. So I really like the gameplay in The Last of Us, and more so than like Uncharted or whatever, because Uncharted is like very vanilla and just like let's just get you through this.
Really interesting, because I find Uncharted more enjoyable.
Really? Yeah.
To play,
I think to me Uncharted feels like the combat is really bashing heads with the narrative. Where like
that's true.
Drake is like killing thousands of pirates or whatever, and that's really weird. And
then he goes back to his daughter, and everything's okay.
Yeah, whereas the gameplay in The Last of Us is like significantly more in line with what's going on in the world and what the characters are going through, and it never, well, sometimes maybe it does because it's a video game, but it does, I think, a pretty good job of not getting too gamey and like grounding its systems really well. And I think the thing that gets me really excited when I play The Last of Us is that jump from when you're like stalking around and it's quiet and it's tense, and then you mess up because you always inevitably mess up or something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And that swap where everything goes to hell feels really frantic. But it doesn't feel like in Metal Gear Solid when you get caught and then you just run away and go hide under a crate for 2 hours. The gameplay changes to another whole way of playing, and it doesn't feel like, oh no, I did the game bad. It feels like,
which MGS is all about.
Yeah, it feels like, oh, this is the other part of this game. This is the other way you have to deal with these people. Is like, if you can't do it this way, you have to do it this way, which is a lot of what Joel is about as a character. So it really, that blending always to me really feels good, and there's like the systems are built to like specifically make it so you mess up. So like the aiming's really rough and like
and the clickers' heads.
Yeah, and
impossible to nail onto.
Though to be honest, like I think I remember after playing The Last of Us, towards like the middle end of the game, I felt like I got pretty used to the way the aiming worked and was like popping off headshots quite quickly. As Joel, I seem to recall it like you just get used to like the sway, and like just kind of naturally getting a feel for it. But yeah, I just think it does that stuff really well, and I think it might not be the most like intricate or like blah blah, but it feels very like expressive, and I think that's something that's what Naughty Dog does really well is like lets you act, as the character, which is the thing I really like doing in games is acting. We talked about like how much I like walking, and I think we probably even referenced The Last of Us, because like Joel's walk cycle is like rad.
You did.
Yeah. And they obviously,
how many speeds does he have? Does he have 4 like,
well,
4 walk speeds?
like,
because Ty has 4 walk speeds.
well, the difference between Ty and Joel is that Joel doesn't have set speeds because he's a human. so he naturally moves from one speed to the other.
Ty has 4 walk speeds.
His animations blend together, so you can't tell how many speeds he has. Yeah. I feel like I need to just like clarify exactly why I like Last of Us gameplay, and I think that's kind of why. And Ellie is like built specifically to suit her situation, where she's more frantic and smaller, and she's like jumping on the back of guys, and like she's like kind of less precise in a way.
I think the whole thing about gameplay switching to that moment where it is frantic, I think it's a great point, because it's true. It does feel like, okay, it's a matter of time before these guys notice me. Let me see how far I can go without being noticed. And if you do get through the whole thing, you're like, nice.
Yeah.
That was really great. I'm great. Look at me. Whereas as soon as it goes pear-shaped, you're like, okay, as expected.
Yeah.
Let's just try and sort this out.
But I think the other thing about that that's really good is that there are a lot of games that are built with like lots of different ways you can get around a thing, like lots of different gameplay things you can do to like get past an enemy, and it's like I think it's like a natural known thing that human beings just always find the easiest option and do that, you know. So like,
path of least resistance.
Yeah, exactly. So like they're like, okay, so it turns out that if I can just use my trank on people's heads, they go down and I can just go straight past them, and you end up doing that. Even though Metal Gear Solid, most of those games have like a huge amount of things you can do, like especially like MGS3, like you can put like a crocodile on your head and like scare them away, and you're just never going to do that because the time and effort and risk it takes. Whereas you could just drop them in the head and go past them. Last of Us is one of the few games where I feel like I'm actually improvising. Like I'm genuinely improvising. Like
really?
I'm not like especially when crap hits the fan. I recognize. I think we put like clean lyrics on this podcast, so I'm trying not to swear.
No, it's fine.
When like that switch happens, and like oh crap, there's 2 guys coming from over there, and I have this brick and this Molotov, and I can quickly create this whatever, and I have 2 shots in my shotgun, and like my brain is aware of all that stuff, and then I just kind of do something with it, and it feels really good to have all those things that I didn't necessarily plan out. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I didn't know the paths of these enemies, and things just kind of worked out.
I think you've mentioned it there in the fact that I think that's pretty much just created by having limited ammo.
Yeah.
It'd be the same in MGS if you only had like 3 trank shots.
Yeah, sure. If you play MGS on like the hardest difficulty, it's a completely different game because you have to do other things.
I love that. I love it when difficulty really like changes the way you play a game.
Yeah. Speaking of, I did play. Did I tell you this? I was playing through The Last of Us on the hardest difficulty, which is called Grounded, which is the one they released on PS4 when it came out.
Yeah.
And it's very much like not. To me, it feels very like not balanced. Like it's kind of they just kind of said, well, we're releasing it again. Let's just make an even harder difficulty and not really think about it. So it's like ridiculously hard. And sometimes it's like, well, basically, if you didn't find some ammo in the last area, you probably can't get through this section, is what it feels like.
Yeah, I hate that.
So I've got stuck multiple times, and I still like turn it on sometimes and try these things that I'm stuck at. The bits where it sucks is where like is when you have those like forced enemies are coming in through the doors and you have to kill them all sections in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which are the worst bits of that game.
Like in the end section of Left Behind.
Yeah, exactly. And
Same deal.
That's like the worst part of that game.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's where it really sucks because you basically need a lot of ammo to get through it.
Yeah, I had some struggles. I think one of my biggest problems with The Last of Us is, well, it's not a problem, but that it's still very video gamey.
Sure.
In a lot of ways, like, okay, I have to go turn on this generator in this flooded section. Oh, okay, it's on. Electric water. can't touch that.
Yeah.
Waves of enemies.
Or like the fact that Ellie never learns to swim.
Oh, that's nice though. That's real. I think that's the opposite.
I think that's so dumb. Like, I get it. It's just like you basically repeat that same puzzle like 5 times for no reason.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's maybe a bit overused, but like, when would she have learned to swim?
Yeah,
it's a good point.
They were together for an entire year.
Anyway, let's talk about the actual.
to do.
Let's talk about the specifics because we've just sort of talked.
Yeah, we should
big
probably talk
picture
about
Last of Us.
Left Behind.
Yeah, what these games do better than anyone else is just chit chat. Whether it's Nate, Drake, and Sully, or Ellie and Joel, or Ellie and Riley, it's just the chat they have when they walk around, which makes these games for me.
Yeah, sure.
Which is purely what the Ellie Riley section is. And they know it as well, and they put in all these moments. So you basically meet up with Riley. She goes, "Let's hang out. I've got plans. Come with me." And she takes you to an abandoned mall outside of the quarantine zone, and you start exploring, and you find all these cool shops and blah 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 blah. And there's some great moments. I think the first real great one is the Halloween shop.
Yeah.
Which is great fun. You go into a Halloween shop, you put on all these masks, you play around. There's like a magic 8 ball, and that's just the best when you get the magic 8 ball and you just ask it a million questions, and they're all great. And then like you go and you get into the picture booth.
Yeah,
great fun. One problem I had is that when they try and put, like, Facebook comes up to upload your photos to Facebook, and they type in the username and the password as like, they just like, what do you think it is? And they just try something random. The username is starred out.
Really?
Why would they do that? Yeah, they start out the username and the password.
Yeah, that feels like an opportunity for like a dumb joke where they just put something dumb in the username.
But it's those moments where... So, I mean, I think the 2 big ones for me were the skull... the magic skull number 8 ball. Where she's just asking all these like funny questions, and it just sort of gives you an insight to what she's thinking about, and, you know, her relationship with the other person.
Sure.
And then also when... Because if you look in your inventory at the start, you have a pun book. Yeah. And then Riley's like, "I have this for you," and she's like, "Fuck you! You found another pun book." And then you just go through all the puns. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, that one's so good," or "Oh, that's so bad." But I love Ellie's voice as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ellie's actor is wonderful.
Yeah, because Ashley Johnson, who does it, is just like, that's just the way she is naturally. But like the way she's like, "Yes," and like, "Awesome," she like drags them out. I really like the way she says the words. And those 2 sections I thought were really fun.
Yeah, I think something that's really cool is how it uses like traditional Last of Us gameplay mechanics for sort of fun, teen, dumb things, and they work really well. So like, there's a bit where Ellie and Riley challenge each other to like who can break as many windows on this car by throwing bricks at it or something.
Oh yeah.
And obviously you already have that mechanic of throwing bricks at things. And then there's another bit at the end which was like really stressful, which was the water gun bit.
It was a bit, wasn't it? It's because you know there's an achievement link to it. You just know.
Yeah. The water gun thing was cool as well. And then they have those
you each get a water gun and you have to fight each other.
Yeah.
And like sneak around and shoot each other with a water gun and see who wins.
It's really, really cute. And then you have that arcade one was really interesting. I don't remember it too well, but But you roll into like an old busted arcade and you find like a Street Fighter machine basically, and obviously it's not working. And I think Riley has either played one before or just kind of knows how they go. So she gets Ellie to like put her hands on the buttons, and then she like narrates it, and like Ellie goes into this like fugue state where she's like imagining this game, and it's basically like a big quick time event, but it's really cute, it's really nice. I really like that stuff.
Yeah, it was a fun moment. It's a good point when you say she must have played one before, because that's a good point. Where would they have gotten the context for these arcade machines?
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of assume that Riley did everything on that while that she disappeared before she came back to see Ellie. Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, she said how did you know this? And she said, "Oh, one of the Fireflies told me about this."
Oh, okay.
At one point, and okay, so I think maybe my biggest problem with this game, it's like a narrative problem of. So at the end, what happens is, so there's like a lot of conflict between them where they both sort of, basically Ellie, this is like one of Ellie's best friends, and she's like, just stay, but Riley's also just like, she wants to go to the Fireflies, and there's a moment at the end where, and which surprised me when Ellie was like, just stay, and Riley was like, you know what, yeah, I will. Which I thought was nice, and then like, you know, they have a kiss, and then they like start partying, and they're at a electronic shop, and they find a stereo that plays music, and they turn it right up and start dancing on the table. What do you know? Like a bunch of zombies turn up, and it becomes stressful, and you have to run.
Yeah.
Like, what were they expecting?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they were dumb kids in love.
But like, it's beyond. I mean, and I think that was one of my problems with the whole thing. They said there was no sign of the zombies, which was really nice in terms of gameplay, but narrative-wise.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see how it would like feel contrived that that's the moment that would show up, because it's not like they haven't been making noise or anyway, you know.
Yeah, throughout the whole thing, they've been turning on all like electricity and shouting and screaming.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why I assumed it was so much earlier than when she was with Joel, because 2 weeks later, which is nothing, obviously, everywhere is constantly filled with them.
Yeah. I think
it's dumb.
Yeah, I don't think I necessarily needed to see them in the situation where they got bitten. I don't know if I felt like I needed to know that, because you know that already, right? You know that from the moment you see Riley, you know that she's not gonna make it. Because Ellie talks about it in the main game.
Yeah.
Does she ever mention her by name? I don't think she does.
I don't remember.
So I don't know if I needed that specific moment, and maybe it kind of feels like there's something like unsatisfying about like the last few minutes, where it feels a bit like, I mean, there's some nice things, like it's nicely written and acted and directed and whatever, but like there's something, I guess maybe something kind of unnecessary. Whereas like the end of The Last of Us showed a huge amount of restraint for that stuff. Maybe the end of the DLC kind of feels a little more busy and contrived when it didn't need to be.
Right.
I don't know. I think, honestly, one of the things, and it's not a problem, but I didn't particularly warm to Riley that much as a character.
No, me neither particularly.
I like her because Ellie likes her, and I like Ellie, which is fine. Like, I think that's okay to not love a character, but I didn't hugely warm to her. And I guess that's kind of true of, like, all the sort of tertiary characters in The Last of Us, where like basically the only people I ever really liked was Joel and Ellie. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like Tess, but she was also awful. And then like there's those brothers Sam and something, and they were like kind of throwaway, and his brother as well. It's just kind of like everyone else is quite like disposable for obvious reasons. And like, yeah, I would say that Riley is kind of also in that camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like her when her story is based on the fact that she abandoned this character to go join a cause which isn't painted in a particularly good light in the main game.
Yeah, yeah, I guess because you don't have that context of who they were before, you're sort of immediately like expected to like jump ahead and be in Ellie's shoes when you can't really be. So there's like 20,000 dogs going down my road.
Yeah, I can hear them.
What is going on? Oh, it's a big... It turns out it's two tiny dogs fighting. Jesus.
Are there any animals in Left Behind? I don't think so.
Yeah, let's keep on topic here. Are there any animals in Left Behind?
I mean, animals make quite a big appearance in the original game.
You kill a few of them.
Yeah. And there's like the big giraffe moment.
Yeah, I forgot about that bit. And you ride a horse.
Yeah.
Good times. I don't think there is any animals in Left Behind.
And also, I guess we don't really know how animals and the infected interact as well. That's never really touched.
Yeah, I guess you never see like a zombie deer.
No.
But I guess you would,
Maybe.
right? Because, I mean, not necessarily, because these...
Maybe it just affects the different animals differently.
Yeah, because it's not like we get infected by, like, whatever that thing is with ants that inspired this game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not like if an ant bites us.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, jump species. So...
It's possible.
The other thing that I don't really remember, but I do remember it being talked about when it came out, was one of the differences in gameplay is that the clickers now attack other humans. Did
they not before? Yeah.
Yeah, so in the main game, they never cross paths.
Oh, really?
They're always two separate things.
Which is, yeah, it's a really good moment. I think one of the best moments I had was when... so I walked into a space, crouched down, did my hear out, listen to see through walls trick. So I'm crouching down, seeing a bunch of clickers just off to the side. So I have like a brick and one of those exploding bombs, homemade bombs. So I sort of sneak around a little bit, chuck a brick to try and get them all closer together, and then chuck in the bomb. And I think there are 3 or 4, and I think I take out 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's one left, and I run back around, and it's a counter. So I'm hidden behind a counter that sort of is an L shape. The wall's on the right, and there's an L-shaped counter sort of in front and to my left. And this clicker, I'm just crouched behind it, and this clicker's just like slowly walking around, and I don't think I had any ammo or anything, and it's just nearly about to turn the corner when these other guys turn up and start shooting it, and it just runs towards them, which was a great moment.
Yeah, that's good.
And that was nice to be able to leave them together to just fight.
And you could just get on with your business.
Or just clean up what was left over.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that wasn't in the original game.
Yeah, I guess they just couldn't do it in time. It's probably something they wanted and just couldn't make it for the main game. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, I've just got no idea how hard that would be to do. But I can't imagine it'd be that hard.
Yeah, I think they talked about how, like, I've definitely heard interviews of them talking about how The Last of Us really only came together in, like, the last couple months. And they were just, like, because they delayed it once or twice, and they were just, like, really pushed to make this game feel good, basically.
Right.
So, yeah, I can kind of imagine them just not being able to implement that. Having to focus on other things,
Yeah. Yeah. It pretty much covers it.
I'm glad you finally played it.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Just realised I forgot to think of a game for you to play. Let me scroll down here. I've got a list of games. That
Give me something good. I want something good.
Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna choose this one. Ben, is there anything else you want to say about The Last of Us?
No, it's good. That's it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
You have less strong feelings on it than I do, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. Because I just want to play the chit-chat bits.
You would if they just cut all the combat out, you'd be happy.
No, but I'd want the combat to be slightly different. I don't know. I don't know how.
You don't know how you change it.
If I was to change that game,
Do you have another game that you feel like does that better?
what?
Does like
Third-person combat better
I guess, but like for that tone, like just gets
for a serious game?
gets that close.
I mean, sort of take it to I don't know.
Tough question.
Tough question. Maybe it's just partially because I'm not great at the aiming and stuff, and then I mean it's kind of nice missing.
It is, yeah.
And maybe it's just that sort of gameplay just doesn't inspire me naturally,
Sure.
which is very possible.
Yeah, sure. It's fair.
Good game though. I liked it. I mean, yeah, I did enjoy. I've always enjoyed Last of Us gameplay though massively. So that one I'm not too sure about. Also, you know what I think it is? I think it's just, even though it's like the best one, a prejudice to zombie games.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think like it does the best it can to avoid being a zombie game, but is at the end of the day still about zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just massive prejudice towards that.
Yeah, it still has like a lot of it's still at least it starts with like a lot of tropes that you're used to, you know. And it does like an amazing job subverting that and just like using that to actually tell an interesting story, but it does rely at the start at least on a lot of that stuff.
And also I think with the main game, the opening is so good.
The opening is insane.
The opening is insane. So that at least from that moment, you know that the game will be good because.
But it's weird, though, right? Because
so
like
insane.
The opening is really, really good, and then the pacing just like turns off for a couple hours. At least I recall like this like the actual start of that game is kind of a chore.
So cinematic and scripted that first bit.
Yeah.
That it sort of just changes into a slow open world, not open world, still.
Yeah.
Very corridor, but the pace definitely does change. But at least you go in going, okay, I'm playing a zombie game, and then at least you get to go through some really nice gameplay to be like, okay, let's play it.
Yeah, sure.
Even though you'd play it anyway because it's a Naughty Dog game.
All right,
next week. You know what I might get you to play 3 more hours of is Undertale.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one. Would you rather me just start again or play from where I am? I think I would probably rather start again.
And start again.
But I also don't really want to start again.
I mean, that's the thing. I think that game really came together for me in the later moments.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and then I really enjoyed it towards the end.
I think I could probably pick up from where I was.
How far in were you? Do you remember?
I just did the first fight with the fish lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know in terms of hours?
No.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah, maybe just pick up from where you were. I mean, it's not like the story's very deep narratively in terms of
Sure. It's moment to moment stuff.
Plot points. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, man. Good stuff.
So this podcast goes out every single Sunday. We haven't missed one.
No, for like 12, 13 weeks.
Which is incredible.
Good
by
stuff.
our standards. It's on SoundCloud and iTunes and maybe some other ones that we're not aware of. It looks
if you just type it in, it comes up on some like random sites that I guess just try and like take traffic from these other sites.
Yeah, it looks.
I don't know how.
It looks like some people are actually listening to it, which is kind of cool.
Really?
Well, I've been looking. So at the start, it was clearly just a lot of bots, and then now they're actual named accounts that are listening to the episodes.
Really?
Yeah. Some named accounts.
Oh shit! Slime Ranch has actually got a ton of plays.
Slime Rancher is insane. I guess because it just
fuck?
it just came out, so it's just high on SEO and stuff. Like it's just like.
And also, I think the cover image is quite enticing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, Slime Rancher is a good looking game, and you did a good job choosing the right pick. Like you compare the Slime Rancher image to the Half-Life image.
Yeah,
it's like the saddest little image.
Which I don't mind. It doesn't look the best, but it's still what that game is.
And you got a bevy of choices for Left Behind. So
yeah, I took a bunch of screenshots.
Oh, cool.
So I'll use one that was actual Lochie Lazich gameplay.
Yeah, it's cool. Alright, man, let's call it there.
Yeah, and Ty 55 plays. Woo, Factorio 48. What the fuck? Her story 7.
7, but the most likes, both from bots, but also the most likes.
2. Good shit.
Alright,
man. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
3 more hours till I know the mics are on. 3 more hours till I know the mics are on. 3 more